have a good word for us today, and it's going to be the next few sessions to really get it all in, because we try to keep these short, but each time you learn something that's beneficial for you. And a few months ago at our celebration board meetings, we talked about authority. And that came from an example of when my husband and I had attended a funeral. This was a huge processional of cars after the funeral going to the cemetery. And we were sort of at the end of the line. And if you can imagine closing down an interstate, a 5-lane interstate, as the procession came on. This man was highly respected. And so we were about 2 miles from the exit where we were going to the cemetery, and all at once we heard this motorcycle policeman come up and go beep, beep. And it was kind of a shock, and we looked over, and he was pointing to a guy in front of us who had cut in the line. And the patrolman said, "Out of the line, now." So the guy moved out, and I began so impressed. I said, first of all, we're very thankful for our policemen and people who are in this line of work, but they have authority. And that man got out of the line and had to go down and probably in the next exit. But I started thinking, Jesus has given us authority. And I want to read you this passage. It's in Matthew 16:19. He said, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven." And keys also represent authority. "And whatever you bind or declare to be improper and unlawful on earth must be what is already bound in heaven. And whatever you loose or declare lawful on earth must be what is already loosed in heaven." So at our board meeting, we started talking about what are some examples of things that are unlawful in heaven? What is not in heaven? And so all the girls pitched in, and we had this great list. I'm going to read it to you. First of all, there's no sin in heaven. There's no sickness in heaven. There's no stealing or killing or lying. There's no fear in heaven. There's no death in heaven. There's no pain in heaven. There are no tears in heaven. There's no anger. There's no jealousy. There's no confusion or insecurity. There's no shame in heaven. And we began to list all of these things. There's, of course, no demons in heaven. So if they're not lawful in heaven, then we can take the authority that Jesus gave us and bind these spirits from operating today on this earth. And it's a new thing for some of us to learn about this. It's like, my goodness, Jesus has given us authority to bind and loose. Well, it's in the Word of God. And the thing is, we're not taking authority over people or their thoughts or their decisions, but we're taking authority in the spirit realm. So it's something exciting to think about, that we don't have to walk defeated, but we can walk victorious because Jesus gave us authority.